Hello, we're just moving into autumn. The leaves are starting to fall. It's that time of year again where we start thinking about winter compost. If you've seen any of my previous videos on winter composting, you'll know that I like to compost seaweed and leaves. A chop and drop mix overwintered on a raised bed is all that's required to make yourself some compost for the following spring. Those few winter months are enough to convert seaweed and leaves, a chopped mix, into usable compost the following spring. So what we're going to do, it's a nice day here at Homegrown Veg, we're going to pop up our local woods, collect some leaves, that's a walk to the woods molly, and then we'll have a spin down to our local seashore and see if there's any seaweed available. If there is, we'll collect it. If there isn't, then we'll go the next day or the next day or the next day until there is some seaweed. We don't live too far away from the seashore, so that's not a problem. Okay, so we'll go and collect the ingredients for our surf and turf chopped seaweed and leaf mix, and we'll bring it home. Okay, we'll keep the leaves in the bags and we'll lay out the seaweed on a tarpaulin on the patio, and any residual salt on that seaweed we'll let the rain wash it off for 2 or 3 weeks. And once that's done, hopefully the wind will dry the seaweed out, and then we'll do a chop and drop. But we need to go and gather the ingredients first, don't we, Mom? Are you ready for a walk? Do you want to go? Yeah, we're going for a walk. Come on, let's go. Come on, Mo. Come on, Mo. Come on. Good girl. Just wait there, hold on. Close this gate. Good girl. Good girl, come on. We've got the seaweed home now. One of the most asked questions I get on my channel about seaweed is what do we do about the salt? Well, I'll tell you what we do about the salt. We don't do a lot about the salt because there isn't a lot of salt. The only salt associated with seaweed is the salty water that it grows in, seawater. And any salt on seaweed is residual, and there's not a lot of it. And so all we really need to do is wash the seaweed. But I'm not going to wash it. I'm just going to put it out on this tarp, and I'm going to let the rain take the strain. Let's face it, this is winter composting. There's a lot of rain ahead of us between now and next spring when we're going to use this stuff. So this is going to get a good soaking between now and then. Right, I've just another couple of bags to drop on this, and that's about as much as we'll do this short section of the video. Excuse me, Mo. Okay, so we're going to let the rain take the strain. Excuse me again, Molly. Thank you. Yeah, there's no need to wash this. No need at all. The rain will do it for us. Give this a few weeks, laying out here. You get the wind, you get the sun, you get the rain. It'll be as clean as a whistle. Okay. Then hopefully, if we get a few dry days, before we chop it, hopefully this seaweed will be dry, and it'll chop better when it's dry than it does when it's wet. So that's the seaweed in the bag. I should I say seaweed out of the bag, and the leaves in the bag. So we've got the ingredients for our winter compost mix. Seaweed and leaves. Okay. There'll be no flies associated with this. It's getting too cold now. All the flies have vamoosed. And I'll just turn this over with a fork every now and again, just to make sure it all gets wetted. And that's about as much as we need to do with this, isn't it, Mo? I'd say that's about as much as we need to do with this, isn't it? This is how we remove the salt, the residual salt from seaweed. Seaweed has been out on the patio now for about 3 weeks, and just about every other day we've had some rain. So there's not likely to be any salt left caught in that seaweed now. The rain's started to ease off now. What we need now There's a few days of dry weather with some wind to dry this seaweed out. It's had 2 or 3 weeks of rain across it. We're ready to do a chop and drop now, but not until the seaweed is dried out. We've removed the salt, but it will be too difficult to chop now in its wet state, its wet condition. It's much easier chopped when it's dry. So fingers crossed for some dry weather now. We don't mind a bit of wind, that'll help to dry it, and then we'll do a chop and drop. But that's for a follow-up video when we make our seaweed and leaves compost, overwinter it on a raised bed. This is winter composting. We're not trying to keep it warm. We're not going to build a compost pile as big as the house. We're going to put this down in a layer of about 2 inches across a raised bed. We'll let the rain and the worms take the strain, and this is where we'll marry up the vermiculture that we're having a go at this year. This is where we'll introduce the worms to the new home and give them some lovely seaweed and leaves to eat, see them through the winter. Improve the compost, improve the raised bed, working with nature. This is Homegrown Veg, signing out.